The following video will review information that was released in the last day of the Richard Allen hearings. Please be mindful of the trigger warning in midway through and be respectful in your comments. According to testimony in the Richard Allen hearings, on March 21st, 2023, Richard Allen professed to have found God. Richard confessed that he most likely would not be able to be with his family ever again in this lifetime, and he was hoping to gain entrance to heaven so he could be with them in heaven one day. Also mentioned was the claim that he would like to take his own life, but he was too much of a coward to do it himself. Brian Harshman oversees the monitoring of all phone calls and visits made by Richard Allen, took the stand. Harshman stated that Richard Allen has sincerely confessed over 60 occasions, though he considers this estimate to be on the lower side. These disclosures were shared with several individuals, including doctors, nurses, clergy, and staff members. At first, Allen confessed to the warden in 2 letters, then to his wife Kathy and his mother Janice, asking Dr. Walla, the psychologist, to phone them so he could confess. During these confessions, Kathy and his mother understandably became upset and encouraged him to stop speaking, even mentioning contacting Brad Rosie if he did not stop. One of Richard Allen's confessions was that he felt remorse for killing Abby. There was no mention of remorse for killing Libby that we know of. The fact that Abby was found dressed and Libby was undressed, and they were covered with sticks, I consider that to be what's called an undoing. So what is an undoing? It's a pattern of behavior by which an offender tries to undo the crime symbolically. For example, redressing a victim. Dr. Walla clarified that the confessions were delayed due to Rick's worries about his family's views, wanting to shield them from the trial's evidence. His lawyer talked to Kathy and his mother before the unsettling information was revealed, and they opted to step out and did not come back for that segment of the hearing. Trigger warning. The information you are about to hear regarding the deaths of Libby German and Abby Williams may be distressing and challenging to listen to. After thoughtful consideration on whether to share this information, I've decided to leave out the more distressing parts out of respect for the girls and their families. Patrick Cicero from LaPorte Police Department was called to the stand. As a seasoned CSI and a major with more than 20 years of experience in blood stain evidence analysis, he meticulously re-examined the clothing and the pooled blood on the ground, describing the blood stains on the F tree as resembling an upside-down L. He testified about 6 distinct blood spatters resulting from transfer, explaining how the blood came into contact with the second surface at the base of the tree. The blood transfers they found were quite voluminous under the crystal violet light. There were large pools of blood that were south of the tree and 2 feet west of Abby. There were 2 smaller areas of blood considered to be accumulations, not drips. The analysis of the blood on Libby found that all DNA belonged to Libby. Libby was dragged 7 to 8 feet. She was cut 3 times, originally leading investigators to believe a serrated blade was used. However, Prosecutor McClellan suggested that the weapon may have been a box cutter. Libby's body was stationary for some time before she was moved. In one of Richard Allen's confessions, he admitted to using a box cutter he acquired from CVS and then disposing of it in the CVS dumpster. Abby was not moved, but only repositioned. She died where she was found. Bloodstains on Abby's face were consistent with leaving her to lie where she was found. Her head was turned after she passed. It is possible that her upper body was lifted at some point. Libby had a tremendous amount of blood on her arms. This tells Major Cicero that she lived longer than Abby. The hooded sweatshirt that Abby was wearing was saturated with blood. Major Cicero mentioned that the sticks adequately concealed the bodies, a statement that drew an objection from the defense. The physical layout of the crime scene in April 2024 closely resembled the one captured in photographs from February 2017, and he believed that the F, or the upside-down L, was a blood transfer stain rather than painted on. At the end of the hearings, Richard Allen laid his head on the table as all of the attorneys approached Judge Gull's bench. It was then announced the motion to vacate the safekeeping order was granted, and Richard Allen would be moved to the Cass County Jail in Logansport the next day. Our thoughts and our prayers are with the families. May God be with them during this time of revelations, and let God bless the souls of Libby and Abby, who now rest in heaven with our Father and in the embrace of Jesus. And now let's all take a moment of silence for Libby and Abby.